who those individuals were?
I can recall Will Sinjwald. I'm not sure about the other boys where they were sitting exactly.
Do you recall if anyone was in the trunk of the vehicle?
Maybe one kid.
Do you know?
I don't know which one.
Now, you got back in the vehicle. At that point, where did you think you were going?
Home.
And why did you think that?
If you live in Shelton, we were about to pass the reservoir, which was towards my house.
Did you indicate to Jack that you wanted to go home at that point?
Yes.
Now, at some point, withdrawn. Did Jack take you home at that moment?
No.
At some point while you were in the vehicle, were you made aware that some boys in the car were part of a texting chain or a texting conversation?
It was mentioned. I didn't know who was in it or what was going on in it.
Were you part of that texting chain?
No.
And how did you become aware that there was a texting chain going on?
It must have been mentioned at one point in the car. I think I just noticed that we had changed route. I think someone must have sent a text message in that group chat, and that's how I was aware.
Now, what was the atmosphere and the vibe in the car at this point? Once the texting chain had developed and you indicated that you were made aware of it, explain and describe what the vibe was in the car.
I definitely could tell that the vibe had changed. I was close to being home, and then it seemed like in an instant the boys were set on going to Tyler Rich's house.
Now, how did you become aware? Well, withdrawn. Are you familiar with Tyler Rich?
Yes.
And how do you know Tyler Rich?
I was good friends with him growing up. He was in my friend group, and I've been to his house a ton of times.
Did you attend schools with Tyler Rich?
Yes.
Other than high school?
Yes.
And you said you just indicated you've been to his house a ton of times?
To a bunch of his parties and hangouts.
Now, how did you become aware that you were going to Tyler Rich's house?
I just remember being close to my home, and I remember then taking a left towards Isinglass rather than going straight back, so I knew that we had changed direction.
So is it fair to say at some point you thought you were going home, you thought you were being dropped off at home? That did not occur because did you actually pass your street?
No.
But the car diverted to another direction?
Yes, and the two boys in the front had made it known that they were now going to Tyler's house.
Okay. So without obviously going into what they said, you became aware that that's where you were going?
Yes.
Do you recall hearing anything from Lido at that point regarding going to Tyler Rich's house or going to fight anyone, anything to that effect?
I don't remember him saying anything, but I had objected multiple times to us going, and he didn't stand up for me or say anything in that regard. I didn't want to go to Tyler Rich's house.
Why didn't you want to go to Tyler Rich's house, McKenzie?
Because I grew up in Shelton, and a bunch of people who I was friends with I knew would probably be at that party. So it seemed as if there was some type of confrontation going on between them, and I knew I didn't want to be a part of it.
Do you recall the address of Tyler Rich's house offhand?
Laurel Glen, I'm not sure what number.
And was there anyone in particular in the vehicle that was pushing going to Tyler Rich's house more so than anyone else?
I would say that Jack Snyder and Tyler DiSilva in the front were pushing it. Jack was the one driving, and I had pleaded with him multiple times that I wanted to go home, and it seemed like he was adamant about going.
On the way to Tyler Rich's house, who, if anyone, did you have contact with on your phone?
As soon as I was made aware that they were now headed to Tyler Rich's house, I had texted my sister, and I had asked her to pick me up from Tyler Rich's house.
And why did you do that?
I knew I didn't want to be at Tyler Rich's house. I didn't want to be anywhere near his house. A lot of the people there were my friends, so I didn't want to get involved.
Based on the conversation you heard in the car, as well as just your overall gut feeling, did you know something bad was going to happen? and go into the house?
I assumed it wasn't going to be friendly. I assumed it was going to be some type of confrontation.
Now, at some point, did you arrive at Tyler Rich's house?
Yes.
Now, McKenzie, if you can look, if I just may approach the witness, Your Honor.
This is his driveway. I think we were parked facing that way, right there.
So the left of the front drive, the witness is using a pointer to point to the bottom half of State 52 and directed her pointer over to the right-hand side of the exhibit as well.
All right, that'll be reflected on the record. Thank you.
McKenzie, I am going to show you another exhibit. This is exhibit 49. You can look on your screen there. A more pulled back picture of State 52. If you could describe in State 49 where Jack Snyder pulled up to Tyler Rich's house on that day. If you just use your words to describe it. You can't point on the screen, it doesn't show up on this.
I remember he had pulled up probably near the driveway.
Okay, so I'm going to use this pen here. You're indicating that Jack Snyder pulled his vehicle up around this area?
Yes.
Okay. Was it directly in front of the driveway, or was it more to the right-hand side? Was it back more? And you can stop me with my pen.
I would say closer to the driveway.
So maybe around this area?
Yes.
Okay. Let the record reflect, Your Honor, that the state is pointing to the middle to bottom portion of the exhibit towards the driveway of State 49.
Court will reflect the information on the record. Thank you.
Now, when you arrived, McKenzie, can you explain to the members of the jury what you saw initially? And what I mean by that is, did you see anyone out on the road? Did you see anyone out on the front lawn of 43 Laurel Glen? What did you observe?
Before we had pulled up to the house, I had climbed over the back seat and hidden in the trunk. I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be there. So I don't remember seeing who or anyone in the crowd. I would say I maybe remember one or two people coming up towards the back, and someone even said hi to me.
When you got into the trunk of Jack's car, who, if anyone, was in the trunk with you?
Either Keenan or Dimitri. I'm not sure which one.
Back of the trunk, was there windows in the trunk of the vehicle?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall sitting on items in the back of the trunk? Were there other items in the trunk that you were sitting on because there wasn't enough room?
I think there was probably some items around that I just was sitting over.
Were you able to see out the back of the trunk area? Meaning, was there a window out the back of the trunk?
I don't remember looking out the back of the trunk, so.
So you indicated you were able to see a few people. When Jack pulled up, did you initially see anyone, or was there a moment in time that passed before people started coming out of the house and approaching the car?
It seems like there had been a group that formed outside, maybe. The one or two people that I saw was because I think they came up to the back window in the second row and then looked back, and I was kind of in the trunk.
Now, do you know if anyone from your vehicle alerted on the texting chat that you had arrived?
I have no idea.
Now, when you saw these one or two individuals that you just indicated come up to the car, did you recognize them?
Yes.
And who did you recognize them as?
I remember, at the least, I remember Faison coming up to me.
Did you have interaction with Faison?
Yes, it seemed friendly.
Okay. And were any windows rolled down in the Honda Pilot that you were in?
The driver one and the one that Faison came in and said hi to me.
The one that Faison came in to say hi to you, was that the one that Lito was sitting closest to, or either Keenan or Will that you indicated were sitting closer to?
I'm not sure.
When he came over to you, and without telling anyone what he said, were you able to hear him through the open window?
When he acknowledged me, I heard him, yeah.
And when he acknowledged you, did you respond back to him?
Yeah.
And what did you say?
I think I just said hi back.
How do you know Faison?
I didn't know him too well, but he went to my schools, so I knew him through, middle school and maybe intermediate school.
Do you know his last name?
No.
Now, if you can explain to the members of the jury from what you can remember, did any additional people come out of Tyler Rich's house and approach the vehicle?
It seemed like at one point, somebody from the outside had approached the driver's seat window, so Jack Snyder, and it seemed like there was maybe some type of confrontation going on there.
When you say that, what did you hear, what did you observe as far as you terming it a confrontation?
I didn't hear anything specific that stood out. It just seemed that maybe they were arguing back and forth through the window.
Withdrawn. At some point, no, withdrawn. Did you see anyone throwing anything at the vehicle that you were in? Was anything thrown from the vehicle that you were in back out onto the lawn or at individuals from Tyler Rich's house? Do you remember any of that?
I don't remember seeing anyone outside throwing anything, just because I was kind of hidden a little bit, but I do remember hearing a bunch of noises coming, maybe banging on the car or something like that.
Do you recall the car being rocked at all? Do you recall anyone standing on the bumper of the car and moving the car at all?
I don't recall.
When you were in the trunk, McKenzie, you just indicated that you were kind of hiding. Were you almost laying down in the back of the trunk?
I think so, yeah.
Did you hear Lito saying anything to anyone during that interaction at all?
No.
Do you recall how long that interaction occurred between the kids from Tyler Rich's house and the individuals in your vehicle?
No more than a couple minutes.
And what, if anything, happened next that you can recall?
I remember it seemed like things were being thrown at the car, so there was a little chaos there, and then we just immediately started driving down the street.
Do you remember anyone telling Jack to drive off?
No.
Now, when you say went down the street, I'm going to direct your attention to states. May I first witness, Your Honor? State 1, Mackenzie, you can use that pointer again. So this is the area, Laurel Glen, Farmhouse Lane, as well as Adam Drive. This little red dot here in state 1 is 43 Laurel Glen. Can you indicate to members of the jury where you indicate Jack Snyder drove his car down? We were parked right here, and he drove this way. So down Laurel Glen Drive, towards Farmhouse Lane. Where your pointer is now, are you indicating where we'll draw? At some point, did Jack Snyder stop the vehicle down Laurel Glen Drive? So he had originally stopped it right here. Okay. Did he only go down Laurel Glen Drive once and stop, or did he drive back and forth several times? I don't remember driving back. So it's your recollection that he drove down once and stopped on Laurel Glen? Yes. Your Honor, let the record reflect what this is pointing to. The area on Laurel Glen Drive, say, three-fourths down the street on Laurel Glen, like before 36 or 25.
All right, that'll be reflected on the record. Thank you.
Now, McKenzie, you had indicated just now that Jack had stopped his vehicle about three-fourths down the road on Laurel Glen Drive. Why did he stop his vehicle? Do you recall saying something to him to make him stop his vehicle? To your knowledge, why did he stop his vehicle?
I believe me, at least, wanted to get out of the vehicle.
Okay. Did you tell him to stop his vehicle?
I'm not sure. I must have said something yeah.
Did you tell him you wanted to get out? What was your demeanor at that point? Were you crying? Were you yelling? Were you screaming? Explain to the members of the jury.
I was very upset that we had gone there in the first place. I guess I was angry that we were there.
Do you recall crying at all?
No.
Who were you angry with?
Mainly, I was angry that Lito hadn't, stood up and said, let's not go there, because I was objecting a lot in the car. And then I was also angry with Jack Snyder and Tyler because they also knew that I didn't want to go.
You just wanted to go home?
Yes.
Now, you indicated earlier to members of the jury you were in the trunk of the vehicle. At some point, did you get out of Jack Snyder's car?
Yes.
And how did you describe how you got out? Did you pop open the trunk? Did you jump over seats? How did you get out of the vehicle?
When the car came to a stop, I crawled over the seat and I got out of the side door, and I immediately walked to the end of the road and sat on the curb.
At some point, did other people also get out of the vehicle?
I think I think they did.
Do you know who got out?
I'm not sure exactly who at that point in time got out.
I'm going to be showing you State's Exhibit, State's 44.